Welcome to Simply Walk the Talk. Our bodies and minds adapt to what we do most of the time. If you want to change your body and mind, you must change what it is you do most of the time. This podcast explores all things health, wellness, fitness, lifestyle, and biohacking. Stay tuned as we explore various thoughts, methods, and experiences from a multitude of conversations between our interesting guests and experts through many fields of work. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Simply walk the talk. Simply walk the talk. Walk the talk, talking facts. Move like me, but I move a little fast. Make my move, here to last. Fasten your seatbelts, I'm coming fast. Take care of me, longevity.
Josh, thank you so much for being here. Just for the people who may not know who you are. So you are a trainer. What is your background?
Well, so you're right. I'm a trainer. I'm known as a holistic trainer, a health optimization coach. In fact, like being at the biohacking conference is kind of like being home. These are my people. And I know that biohacking gets sort of this negative connotation, but at the end of the day, I feel like we're a group of very curious people who are trying to move the needle in the right direction for health and health optimization. And so I fall very well into that. I'm one of those people that likes to kind of try as many things and everything, but with the understanding that maybe not everything is going to work for me. So I want to fall on to the things that do actually work, that move the needle in the right direction, and then I can then share that with my community, my loved ones, my friends, my clients. And so not only do I teach movement, like for instance, I'm here at the biohacking conference on behalf of Barefoot. So we talk all about foot health. I realize that loads of people here know all there is to know about stem cells and HRV and brain health and all these things, but sometimes we lose focus on our foundation, which actually carries us through life, literally and figuratively, right? And so I'm helping to try to spread awareness about foot health, which starts from the ground up. And then I meet people like you who are also helping to educate me on stem cells and overall health in a different way, right? So ultimately, I'm a curious trier of things, I guess.
You know, I had a talk here with Asher yesterday.
Yes,
so the founder of Vivo.
Yes.
And one thing that, I mean, it's so long ago right now, but my previous pre-stem cell life, I was working on back pain, posture, and with a concept that comes from Europe, which is fascinating, but essentially just presents the human body as an inverted pendulum. So you're actually hanging upward from your feet. So everything in your life comes from your feet. And the secret to reawaken the proprioception of your foot is to basically remove this numbing sole that you have in your feet. And then when you reawaken your feet, there's a huge impact, like up to your skull.
Absolutely.
So it has a huge impact on posture. So I'm a big fan of Vivo Barefoot.
I'm very happy to hear that. Also, because not a lot of people are talking about that, right? Like the proprioceptive system, as many of us know, the feet take about 70% of that proprioceptive system, right? And so if we don't use it, we lose it. And what are we losing along with the feeling of our feet? The connection to the brain and back. So if we want to optimize our brain capacity, the circulation in the brain, the activity in the brain, then we need to give the stimulation that our body craves, starting with the feet. So I like to take people through different techniques that look like play, because you know the George Bernard Shaw quote that says, "We don't grow old. We don't grow old because we don't play. We play because we don't grow old," or something like that, right? Right? And I love that because it's all about exploring. And we have animals and we have young humans, small humans, to teach us some of these examples that we should be trying to incorporate into our lives. And so I'm glad that you had Asher in, because at the end of the day, we're not here just to sell footwear. I mean, that's obviously the end result.
That's how you derive the income, but the mission is bigger.
Right. The mission is like everyone should start the lowest hanging fruit is take your shoes and socks off. A lot of people say just take your shoes off, but I even go as far to say take your socks off. Anyway, I know you're a fan of that. I love that. So yeah, that's
Because I was sharing with him, I went to this like really, really big hike in a crater. It was a big hike. And as I'm starting the hike, there's a bunch of people around and they all have like their big hiking shoes. And they're looking at me with my little Vivo shoes and they're just thinking I'm nuts. Like they're laughing. They're thinking like a quarter down the path and I'm just going to be regretting that I'm having these shoes. I mean, obviously not at all, but if anything, I probably came out of that hike better than they did. And what they don't understand is that if your ankle is completely free to move, if your foot wraps up around the rocks and the things that you walk on, it stimulates your entire body. And at the end, the entire body is wholly with you. Otherwise, you isolate your body from the ground and you just like walk with these lunar shoes on the trail. You think you're protecting your feet. I mean, it's more, I would say risky. Your ankle rolls with the rocks, so you have like hypermobility, so you need to be careful. You need to watch where you put your feet. But I mean, it makes the whole ride so much more interesting.
Well, perfect example of that is it makes you more aware of your surroundings, right? So rather than always checking out, let's check in with our environment, right? I feel like we do so many things to try to check out. We do so many things to forget about sort of like where we are, numb our situation. But when you become more aware because you have something on your feet that might, you know, if you step on a rock that's really sharp, you think about that, you see that, and you might only use your periphery, but you're more aware of where you are. And I used to, so I don't know if you're familiar with the Speed Project. Are you familiar with that? Okay, so right around the time when we spoke on the phone, I and my team, so there was about 9 of us that ran a relay style race from Santa Monica Pier in LA all the way to Las Vegas. We covered more than 350 miles in barefoot shoes. We're the first company to do it in barefoot shoes.
Walking or running?
Running, right? So we did it in 51 hours. We made it from Santa Monica Pier to Las Vegas in 51 hours. And I noticed that everyone else had these big, thick soles. I won't mention names, right, brands, but had these big, thick soles and had these proper, you know, trail running shoes and things like that. But a lot of them were posting on social media.
They developed blisters?
Yeah, blisters, painful feet, and none of us were really going through that, which is really cool. Mind you, we were very trained up. It's a nice transition period, but I think that's what makes it important.
And you need to run the right way. If you run with your heel on the ground, then it hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is some of the things that I do, like with Vivo Barefoot. I lead a lot of the education and the coaching for Vivo Barefoot, and I've been doing it since 2009. And once I understood this way, then my whole area of focus just opened up much broader. This is why I get to talk to people like you, is because I'm at these booths, these conferences, and I get a chance to meet people like yourself. But the entry point was from my feet, because I had bunions. I still have remnants of it, but I thought I was going to have to get bunion surgery until I figured out that all you have to do is kind of make love to your feet, or, you know, in the most professional way, right? But like we call this thing foot mojo, where you know how you hold your hands or you hold your partner's hands. I just put your fingers through your toes.
And when you walk barefoot, that's what your foot does automatically.
Right.
It just spreads.
That's what it wants to do, right? So anyway, enough about me. Enough about me. Because I'm a fan of STEMREGEN. I'm a fan of stem cells in general. And it's one of those things that a lot of people are confused. There's a lot of information and misinformation out there about stem cells. It's expensive. It's hard to maintain. It's hard to get. You have to keep continually doing it. The barrier of entry is so high for a lot of people that they just kind of go, well, it's not for me. So I would love for you to explain what you do, how you got to developing this amazing product that I take personally. And then I'd love to kind of break down some of the ways that people can kind of open their mind to start taking it as well.
So let me start by saying this. For most people, stem cells is what you just described. It's an injection. You go somewhere with a big ticket on your traveling costs, on your residency costs, accommodation, and then the treatment itself. And when you come back from that treatment, the thought is like, okay, these stem cells that I paid a lot for, they're the only one really that I've got in my life. And it's just like, this is so wrong. It is the tip of the iceberg, and it's really to realize and understand, well, first, oftentimes stem cells from an injection will come from your bone marrow, will come from your blood, will come from your fat tissue, so they're already in your body. So what is special about taking them out and putting them back in? So their regenerative power is already in our bodies. So the question for me, since the early days of stem cell research, is that if stem cells have such regenerative power, what is their role in the body, and can we stimulate them in the body? So, and the quick answer to this is that they are literally, and when I say this, I know that it's hard to swallow. It's like people think it's an analogy. It is not an analogy. Just like you have an immune system, you have a repair system. Your stem cells are your repair system. Every human being on the planet has had an injury in their life, a broken bone, a cut, something, and everybody witnessed it repaired. It's no longer there today. How? We have no understanding in medicine how this phenomenon happens. We don't even ask a question. If the doctor puts you in a cast and he says, come back and see me in 6 weeks, you're not going to say, what is going to happen in that 6 weeks? And how can I accelerate this process? It's not even a question. It's not in our psyche. So, and it's beautiful to see how in science, when you don't have a concept for something, it's invisible. So it's been invisible in medicine until we discovered, well, there is a process for repair. It's our own stem cells. So, and I stumbled into all of this because I was hired to study a product, blue-green algae from Klamath Lake, that grows naturally in Southern Oregon in 1995, to study its mechanisms of action, how it works in the body and all of that. And as I'm studying this, I come across people consuming this product who reverse like serious condition touching the liver, the pancreas, the heart, the lung, the brain, joints, skin, so many different aspects of human health that the question was, what is this thing doing to bring such a broad variety of benefits in different people? And to make the story short, early 2001, I came across, my background is brain research. I got the same knowledge that anybody in med school has. Your stem cells are precursors to blood cells. They make lymphocytes, white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets, and that's it. And I started to think, well, it looks like stem cells can become other things, to the point where it looks like they are the repair system of the body. We published an article in a journal called Medical Hypotheses, suggesting stem cells are the repair system of the body. And then I thought, and just like we have plants stimulating the immune system, what if this blue-green algae is stimulating the repair system? Two completely far-fetched, crazy ideas at the time, but to me it just felt like so logical and so common sense. And so we bought the machine to count stem cells, and we started on ourselves at first, and then we discovered the whole thing. This plant was triggering the release of stem cells. And then everything in my life has been stem cell research since January 2001. So that's how I got into this.
It's really impressive, and one of the thoughts that come to mind, and mind you, I'm asking some of these questions, although I've read your book, right? I've been keeping up with everything that you're doing, or trying to as best I can, but I'm trying to think of the person that might be watching or listening. Would it mean then that all we have to do is take blue-green algae to get stem cells?
Yes and no. Yes, but my point is that we had to derive an extract from it. Like we didn't get, there's something in the product which to this day I don't really understand what it is, but as we do this extract, we make something more bioavailable because the effect is much more pronounced with the extract. And as we then move forward, and I ask the question, you know, we evolved in symbiosis with the environment, so we cannot just have like one plant having an effect on stem cells. So what are the other ones? So I simply turn around the question. First, we observe what we had with blue-green algae. So now I turn around the question and ask, what else are we aware of in the whole world of plants, a plant that has been associated historically with many kind of health benefits? And let's go and see if its effect is on stem cells. We don't know because nobody has done it. So we came across goji berries, medicinal mushroom, all of those. But the real discoveries were like in Madagascar, one specific species of aloe in Madagascar. Once we knew how it was prepared in an indigenous preparation called vahona in Madagascar, we then derive our own extract, and we have now one of the strongest response we have seen. Sea buckthorn berry, fucoinon, panaxillary ginseng. And my point is that blue-green algae is the weakest of them all. It's just the way that it was discovered. So yes, you can stimulate stem cells with blue-green algae, but what we have increased with STEMREGEN release and the blend of these plants is the percentage of people who will experience benefit and the time frame is which the benefit will be seen. That's really what we have improved. So you can do it with blue-green algae. Your probability of seeing a benefit will be much higher with this blend, and the extent of the benefit in a short amount of time that you can get will be far superior with STEMREGEN release. But to your question, yeah, you just release your own stem cells. I mean, let's put it this way. You go and get an injection, and I don't want to make the comparison scientifically. We're doing a study in which we're studying this, STEMREGEN compared to injection, but the study is ongoing. So right now, let me just compare them in broad terms. You inject 100 million stem cells, for which you'll pay, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000. Or you take 2 capsules, you will release 10 million of your own. Do this for twice a day, so 20 million in that day. Do this for a week, you have released 140 million of your own stem cells for maybe 20 bucks, 30 bucks. It changes everything.
That's impactful. That's very impactful, because I think simply because when a person wants to get, I don't know, like a knee worked on or healed, or a shoulder, they think they have to go get the injection. Then they're worried about, is this from aborted fetus, or is this from someone placental derived, like from someone I don't know, and all these different things, right? Whereas you could do this in the comfort of your home, take a couple pills each day, and this is what I've been doing. And the number one thing that people ask me when I talk about it is they go, well, what does it do for you? But I think this goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, is that we're all individual. We all have our own things. We all take different supplements. We all have different digestibility capabilities, right? So what would you say for the person, like for the average person, for most people that you talk to or that you've dealt with, let's say the average American, right? What would you say would be the start? Because I noticed you have them numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I think it's signal, release, sport, mobilize, yes? What would you say people should start? How should they start? And then if they could choose just one of those products, what would you think is the most powerful?
So 1 and 2 are sort of the same, which is a product. So sport and release, they're designed to just put more stem cells in circulation. Sport, we wanted to tailor it for athletes. So we changed one ingredient to sort of promote stem cell migration into tendon, ligaments, muscle, proliferation, and their differentiation into tendon, ligaments, muscle. So we boost recovery. And we certified that one NSF. So for professional athletes, that product is available. So they're the same. So you pick the one that you want to have. You want to have the traditional STEMREGEN release, or if for sport, if you want to use it for physical activity, then you go to sport. The other 2 products, 3 and 4, you've got mobilize and then signal. And it's the understanding that once we have released stem cells, there are people who will say, I have a problem and I have not seen benefits. So the question is why? Like oftentimes I give presentation and I start by showing a video because I want to like really mark people's, like stigmatize people's mind. I show a video of the work of Dr. Taylor where she took the heart of a mouse, digested the entire cardiac muscle with digestive enzymes. So after about a day, all that is left is the soft skeleton of the heart, like the collagen of the heart. And on that collagen that still retains the trace that it was a heart, she put stem cells from the animal's own bone marrow on that collagen. And a week later, there's a beating heart in that test tube. This is powerful. This is what your stem cells can do. That's what they can do. So the question is not, are my stem cells working? You would be dead today if they did not work. It's not how, is what stands in the way of them expressing that full potential where I need it in my body? That's the question. So what are these obstacles? And there are the first 2 that just jumps out at us is number 1 is poor microcirculation. So let me take like a little step back. Stem cell research has shown that the body is constantly in the process of tissue turnover. You're losing cells every day. You have a new liver every 2-3 years, new skin every month. Even your heart that was traditionally known to mature until about 10 years of age, and after that, that's it. If you have an injury, then it cannot repair. We know today that you have a renewal rate of about 1% a year in your heart. Your entire body constantly renews. Renewing means losing cells and then replacing them. So if you get a new liver every 2-3 years, you don't have liver problem today. That's because your stem cells are working. They are working. Why are they not working where you have an injury and that thing is lingering and it's chronic and you cannot get rid of? There's only one good explanation, is that your stem cells don't have access to that area because they can be up to 30 microns, your capillaries are 12 microns. So we need to open this microvasculature. So Mobilize is nattokinase, which makes your blood more fluid, so you increase entrainment, nitric oxide producers to dilate arterioles, to bring more blood to capillaries. But your capillaries, to really accept this new blood, they need to be able to expand. So we rebuild the environment of these capillaries with bioflavonoids, plant extract like ginkgo biloba, goji kola, well documented for that. And for cells to really slide and circulate softly into capillaries, you need to have a healthy glycocalyx. So we have the polysaccharides to help rebuild the glycocalyx. So it's 4 technologies into one product called Mobilize to open that microvasculature so that the stem cells you release can go there. The second thing that prevents stem cells of finding where they have to go, it's a little bit like if I'm saying, you're a fireman, you get into a house and you need to know where the fire is. You look where the smoke is coming from. But if that fire has been going on for a few months, you open the door, there's smoke everywhere. You cannot find where the fire is. Same thing with your stem cells. Their release, if the inflammation is going on for a while and now it's become systemic, the signal is everywhere. They cannot easily find where the problem is. So you reduce that background noise of systemic inflammation and you allow stem cells to see where the problem is and circulate in that area. So that's what the other 2 products are.
Yeah, it's a very good analogy because, you know, you've talked to me about this before, but I think now I'm like, ooh, I'm empowered to have a really good analogy, and I'll credit you for that analogy. But it's a really good analogy because I do understand the systemic inflammation, but I didn't really fully understand the idea of the size of the microns for the stem cells going through the microcapillaries, right? So I think that's very important, and I'm happy that you have that. And so are you saying then that a person most likely should try to pair both depending on if things aren't working, so to speak?
If something has been chronic, there's a reason why it's not repairing. You're releasing stem cells and your stem cells are doing their job. The proof you're still alive. I mean, it's really that simple. You will not survive for more than what? Maybe a few minutes without heartbeat, maybe 10 minutes without oxygen, maybe 2 weeks without food, without water, maybe 2 months without food, maybe 3 months without stem cells. They are vital for your survival. So if you're alive, that means you're releasing them and they're working. Why are they not working where you have that problem? So we want to try to eliminate the obstacles that are preventing stem cells to going there. So if there's anything that is chronic, you've got to release stem cells and at the same time reduce that systemic noise and then opening your microvasculature. If it's an acute injury and you say, no, otherwise I'm fine, then just go with STEMREGEN release or sports. And then you just boost the body's ability to repair. It will be enough. Past a certain age, depending on other factors in your life, like if you're diabetic or you have glycemia issues, glycation is in your body. So you know that you have poor microvasculature everywhere in your body. You may not necessarily experience it, your stem cells experience it. So then open your microvasculature. So as you get older, I would say you're not wasting the investment with taking release alone. It won't be a waste. But let me put it this way. You maximize your investment by saying, for the first 2 months, let's just open everything. And the 3rd month, if you say, okay, let me drop the circulation or the signal, you will feel like, do you get the same effect? No? Then let's go back and let's be on this continuous regimen of just taking the 3 so you maximize the benefit.
So then it sounds to me like it's something like loading, right? Like we've talked about loading in the creatine world, things like that, and whether people do that or not. It's like certain people might need that. And it sounds like with this, then for those who are really trying to take care of something that is very, very challenging. It doesn't allow them to thrive throughout life, and then load for a little bit, and then scale back to normalize. One more question.
But there's one more thing just to mention about mobilize, because that's a part that is virtually absent from our language of overall health. And it's the fact that, like, you go and you get your blood test and you look like all the parameters, like your testosterone, T3, T4, DH. I mean, you look at all the stuff. You pile yourself with dietary supplements, you know, to compensate. Like, we all do this. The question that is absolutely never asked, are these components in my blood reaching the capillaries? It's the only place where they matter. The rest is plumbing. The rest is just plumbing. And it's like they stop the mailman with his truck and just say, is he going to have everything to deliver to your place? Yes, perfect, thumbs up, everything is good, but he cannot reach your place. It's pointless. It's pointless. So all we do is that while we open that microvasculature, we've designed the product with the aim of maximizing stem cells' access to all your tissues. But now drop stem cell from the picture. You're opening your capillaries so that all cells of your body have access to all the good stuff that you're doing in biohacking. And that is forgotten. Like the number of people who have started to take Mobilize and they come back and tell stories that have nothing to do with like repair necessarily. It's just like right now we've just opened, we've waken up so many cells because now they have access to oxygen, nutrients, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, everything. So there's another layer to this product.
I'm sorry. I know you're not trying to sell me, but honestly, I couldn't wait to talk to you directly because I wanted to find out, like, how can I use it? Because I do understand the importance of the microcirculation system. Definitely, like, I understand it to a certain degree, but I hadn't really considered, because I was talking to one of the guys earlier, and I had mentioned to him that what's cool about what I've done so far with my journey of taking STEMREGEN is that now I went from about 20 different supplements down to about 4 key supplements. STEMREGEN is one of them. Truthfully, like, I'm not saying this just because I'm on camera, but STEMREGEN is definitely on there. But now I'm just considering, like, maybe I need to open up my microvasculature, right? Like, of course. Like, clearly, to get it to where it needs to go.
Of course, and from a non-marketing standpoint, from a pure physiological standpoint, because the product is not marketed this way, it's probably going to be your best pre-workout product, because your pre-workout product technically is to give you a little boost of energy and open your vasculature. With this product, we open your vasculature. Over time, we restructure your entire capillary system to make it more flexible so that you will immediately, but over time, bring naturally more oxygen, more nutrients. You will be able to, by having more liquid, better lymphatic return. So now you can cleanse your muscle from lactic acid. Like, the whole thing is going to start to work so much more naturally once you've fully opened that microvasculature. So physiologically, it's like almost like your ideal pre-workout product.
This is exciting. Yeah, the wheels are turning in my head. I will start on that.
We'll send you some.
Yeah, I would love to, and yeah, I can't wait to see how it changes, because I do test a lot of things on myself, obviously, but this is one of the things that I don't want to succumb or fall prey like everyone else does, that, well, is it just expensive urine, right? Like, I don't want to be taking all the expensive products and then wasting it, so to speak. So let's see, maybe I look younger next time I come here. I'm going to be turning 44 years old in less than 2 weeks. And it's one of the things that I pride myself on, is having good skin and having good hair and all these things. But there are some things that I wish would feel a little bit different, and let's see if that works. Yeah.
Give it a shot.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Doc. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.